Hey guys, Professor Schupak here, back today with another video for you all. Today's video, we're going to talk about present and future value of money, and we're also going to refer back to interest rates that we covered in the previous video. Let's get started. As you may recall, when I was talking about interest rates, I used an example of lending someone $100 and compounding it at 10% interest. And as we saw that after the first year, we would get $10 off that 100 and we get 110. Then we would get 110 plus 10% of that, which would be 121, and so on. We could rewrite these numbers as 110 is 100 times 1.1, which makes sense. We went up that interest. 121, well, that would be the 110, which was 100 times 1.1, times 1.1 because we went up that interest, and so on. As you can see, the difference is another 1.1 being multiplied, so we kind of have a pattern. The pattern is that every single time we're going, so let's say we're going for 5 years, that would be 1.1 to the fifth if the rate is 10%. And same thing if I asked you for 20 years, it would be 1.1 to the 20th. There we derive these formulas that future value is present value times 1 plus r to the t, where r is your rate and t is your time. And if we take this formula and we isolate present value, then we also get present value equals future value divided by 1 plus r to the t. Now we're going to practice some problems and develop these skills to see how well we understand this. So before we go on, please pause this video at each problem and try to solve it on your own to see how well you know it. Problem 1. Suppose your friend made an investment 5 years ago that compounded 10% annually and is now worth $161.05. How much did your friend initially invest? So we have to think about what we know and what we don't know. Do we know how much he started with? No, that's what we're trying to find. Do we know the rate? Yes, the rate is 10% annual. Do we know the time? Yes, it was 5 years. And do we know the ending value? 161.05. So we know everything but how much he started with, and that's what we're looking for. So he started with an amount X times 1 plus r is 10%, 0.1, to 5 years, to the fifth, equals 161.05. Now all we have to do is isolate x. We'll do that by taking this 1 plus 0.1 to the fifth and dividing it on both sides, so 161.05 divided by that, and we'll solve the problem and get x equals 100. So our friend started with a $100 investment to get these results. Next, assume you deposit $10,000 today in an account that pays 6% interest. How much will you have in 5 years? So we have $10,000, and we need to multiply that by the 6% interest we're gaining for 5 years. So that would be 10,000 times 1 plus r, and r is 0.6, to the fifth. So again, 10,000 plus 1 plus r is 0.06, to the fifth. We get $13,382.26. That's how much it will be worth in 5 years. And one more. You've been offered an investment that will double your money in 10 years. What rate of return are you being offered? Now, the tricky part here is we don't know the future value or the present value. So how do we go about that? Well, we do know that there's a present value that we started with. So let's call that x. And x times 1 plus r to the t is the final value. In this case, we know that the final value will be double the beginning. So double x is 2x. We also know that t is 10 years because we're doubling our money in 10 years, but we don't know r. So we're left with this equation. X times 1 plus r to the 10 equals 2x. The first thing we're going to do is divide x by both sides, and we're going to get 1 plus r to the 10 equals 2. We're still trying to isolate that r, so we want to get rid of this exponent. So how do we do that? Well, we take the 10th root of each side. The 10th root of 1 plus r to the 10 will be 1 plus r, and the 10th root of 2, we can rewrite that as 2 to the 1/10. So we have 1 plus r equals 2 to the 1/10. Last thing we need to do to isolate r is subtract 1. We get r equals 2 to the 1/10 minus 1, which will turn out to be 0.078. So the answer, what rate of return we're being offered, is 7.8%. That is how you do present and future value of money. I hope these examples helped and made your understanding of this topic much better. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it with a friend, and let's help as many people as we can. See you guys in the next video.